Hello everyone, this is Lyndon. Welcome to the Warrior Painters podcast. Today I chatted with 3 international artists who are now working in the United States. They talk about how they made the move, how they found footing in the new environment, as well as the many tips they have to share with other international artists like myself to find success in the American entertainment industry. I'm your host Lyndon. Joining me today is my good friend Q. Q, why don't you tell everyone about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Q, and I come from China. Currently, a background artist working for Netflix on the show called Battle Kitty.
Nice. Next, we have Justina. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, hi, my name is Justina. I'm originally from South Korea. I've been working in game industry for first 7 years, and currently I'm at the Marvel studio as a biz dev artist.
Awesome. Next, we have my artistic hero, Lip. I'm trying to hold in my inner fanboy right now. So tell us about yourself, Lip.
No pressure, thank you. Well, my name is Lip, or better, like it's a short form for Philip Comarella. I come from very, very, very north Italy, basically on the border to Austria, and I came here to New York for the time being to work on a Netflix feature, and I've been production designing and visual developing for the last a year and a half, and it has been a bumpy but very rewarding road.
Did all of you want to move over to America when you were little? Was that always the dream?
Oh, but when I was little, I never thought about moving to American though, because I never been to American. I never actually thought about moving over all the way to live here. I think that just happened when I was in high school because my mom was in US at the time, and then she just told me, "Oh, you want to come to visit me?" And I just come to visit her, and I was fall in love with this place, and then just stayed ever after.
What about you, Justina?
Oh, I grew up and then I love movie more than cartoon. So I guess just naturally want to gear towards to go somewhere that they made the film.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah,
definitely. Like for me personally, like in college, I started noticing all the cool people were on Instagram or like in LA. So that's when I decided. What about you, Lip?
Honestly, for the longest time, I thought I would be just staying in the mountains. It never crossed me that I would be making the jump to a place where I supposed all these movies get done, but it was really far, and it never really dawned me that you could actually go there. But at some point, opportunities arise, and you can think about, what if I can learn from the adult? Let's learn how the adults make movies, for lack of a better term. So I took the chance.
So how did you guys do it? How did you guys make the move?
Well, how it actually happens, as it always happens, you meet people, you have discussions, you agree on certain things, and then opportunities arise. And in my case, I got lucky meeting. Actually, was Don Yamazi, which was a former recruiter at Disney, who was working at Netflix at that time. And we have been a long time sort of in touch with each other, just for me to get a sense, well, what does it mean to become an artist working in a studio, in a bigger studio in the US? Like, what does it take? I wanted to know in contrast to what it's needed. So I got the opportunity to send over my portfolio and say, yeah, you seem ready. Let me look what we can find. And shortly after, she presented me with a couple of options, and I just said yes. And then there we go. So I feel lucky, but I had already spent the last decade working on my own projects, making my own games and my own films, short films. So I was quite happy to step it up and learn from the mistakes from a bigger project, from the requirements for something that is not just a 2-3 man band, and see what does it take to pull off the big guns.
That's awesome. Is it really different?
It is definitely different. There is a whole another stamina you have to muster, because if you end up doing, let's say, even just a mobile game like I did, it's a 1-year project with everything sort of comes from your own agenda, while if you do bigger movies or if you work on bigger projects, you have to accommodate and sort of respect for all the good reasons, many interests and many requirements. So you have to juggle, I think, a lot more and just find the I'm not sure I can find the right word, but I could let's call it stamina, just the force to endure over many years. You might get bored with the style at some point, but because it takes so long, you need to still be able to pull off your very best until then. So yeah, it's another league, and I can only applaud everybody who thrives and has worked for many years in this environment.
Awesome. I'm going to throw it to you, Justina. How did you make the move?
I actually initially came over here as an exchange student, so cultural exchange. So, I came here living in America for a year with an American family and then see what it's like. And then they also, American government sent another to Korea. So high school, and then that leads me to the college because my American family thought that it's like, oh, you're great, you should go to our school. So I was like, all right, yeah. And then that's how I got into actually Academy of Art University because I used to live right nearby. So it's easier for me to actually go to the college from nearby people that I know. And then from the college, when you graduated, you just, oh, okay, I need a job. And I like to have a couple of years experience before I go back to country or make a next move. So I think it's more like naturally happen. I mean, everyone knows that in between there's a lot of tryouts, but I think that's how usually.
That's amazing. So you didn't know that you wanted to go into art professionally before going to like exchange families? They're the ones who encouraged you?
Oh, maybe Q know about this. It's not that easy to be artist in Asia. In South Korea case, if you want to do the art career, you need to start very early age. Like art middle school, art high school, art college. And then I didn't go to any of those. So I wanted to. And then eventually that conversation with my parents didn't pan out that well. So I was like, okay, I will pursue whenever I can later. But I didn't really fixate it much when I was young.
Cute. Did your parents have similar sentiments about art?
My mom is here.
Oh.
Thank you, Mom, for your support. I really appreciate it. I think I always wanted to be an artist, but my parents only said, oh, you need a job that could support you, and then you can have this like a passion, like a job. You can do both artists and also something else, like maybe learn business, be a businesswoman, and then you also can doing art. So she's not always like a fully support being a full-time artist. She always introduced like something else. There's a life. You need to be able to support yourself. You cannot be starving artist, which is right. But she's very supportive, and I came here. My mom was here as an exchange professor, so I came here to visit her. And then I got my student visa. I started with community college first because I don't know what I really want. I learned like physics, chemistry. Find out I'm not into that kind of stuff, and I feel like I still really into art. I like doing art since I'm young, and then I'm 18, I'm in college. I still really wanted to do art. So after 3 years in community college, I think this is the things I really wanted to go, and I wanted to do it professionally. So I just talked to my mom and said, I really, really wanted to go to Art Center College of Design, which at the time ranked like a number 1 for entertainment design because I know I wanted to do entertainment design. So after that conversations, and she support me, which is, I feel grateful for that. Thank you, Mom. I know how hard it is for help me get through Art Center. Yeah, I won't be here without my parents' support.
That's amazing. Because most for us Asian families, like most parents want you to be a lawyer, a doctor, and yeah, it's just really cool when your parents support you. I think I had like a similar experience last year for Lightbox Expo when I was in LA. I got like a taste of like the sweet LA lifestyle, and I just like went home, packed some underwear, and I just came back to like study at Brainstorm for 6 months. So now I I'm actively trying to find a job in LA and like move back so I can hang out with you guys. Yeah, when you guys moved over to US, like, do you already have a lot of friends, or do you have to make friends from scratch?
I totally need to make friends from scratch. I was just graduated from high school when I came here and don't know anyone. I still have the language barrier, even though I learned like 12 years English in China, but never think about I will actually one day use it. So for me, it takes a long time to actually make friends here. Made some like Chinese speaker friend when I first moved to here, but like I think it's 2 years later I started to really making friends with local Americans.
I know everyone here like speaks like multiple languages, so does that help you make friends like in America, like using your native tongue?
I think, I keep mentioning that sometimes, but I have the presumption to believe that when I speak Italian, I'm way funnier than if I can, whatever I can do when I speak English. So whenever I interact with the Italian people, we have this instant celebration, almost like this Insta party where we get along. And I've never understood why that's so, but in specific, there's a guy, an animator at Blue Sky, which is also from Italy, and despite we didn't know each other, it truly felt like meeting an old cousin. So yeah, I think it does help for sure, but I think language is just one of the components. It's mostly interests, because if you can talk about something you really share, being art or just games or just whatever sport you want to do, there is already uh, a place where you can interact with them and be friends instantly, because it's all about sharing things, and language can be one.
Yeah, awesome. Do you have a similar opinion, Justina?
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of Koreans here in North America in general, but I didn't have any much luck to come across other Korean. Somehow my major doesn't know Korean, or none of my classes except for like one or two, there's not really many Korean. But whenever I made a friend, it's just the time that I just doing my homework in the empty room. Someone came in, can I join you? Yeah, go ahead. And then we start talking. That's how I make a friend. It wasn't necessary because of the language, because I guess you're doing the same thing. So it's much easier to start the conversation like art or homework or project.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah, when I was in LA, I was just amazed like how many people like share the same interests, like plein air painting. There's like 20 people showing up consistently like every weekend to paint together. And that's something like I never see in Toronto. And I'm actually trying to start up now. I made like a Toronto chapter of Warrior Painters. So I'm trying to bring that LA culture back to Toronto.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is there a
That's
big
awesome.
community like that too in New York, Lip?
I think when it comes to illustration, there is, I bet, because it has been historically very popular. That for the animation industry, I don't think, because Blue Sky being White Plains and not in the city, so everybody is actually not even in the state of New York. So I couldn't find too many peers to share that experience here in New York. I have found it though, a very tiny painting group called the Sauna Painters, which has nothing to do with like in relation to the Warrior Painters, but it's just yeah, we had some good excursions and moments, but we're just 3 or 4 stray cats in the big city, so nothing big.
The sauna painter. So
Yeah, that's it.
I stalked your social media. You like to talk about saunas a lot. What's with that, Lip?
Well, it's funny. It's born from 2 things. One being it was very popular with my parents, and we were going to ski, and after it was a no-brainer to go into the sauna, even all together. So sauna is definitely a component of my upbringing. Yet I get amused by the different reactions people have when I even mention it. So there's it goes from almost being on the edge of talking like a pervert, almost like, what are you talking? You mean naked? Don't say naked ever. To I don't really like it, or I even hate it. So I think it's really good for you in a mental and physical sense, but I agree that it's a matter of taste. But it's good for you, I promise.
Wow, so it was like a big culture shock when you came here. Nobody wanted to go in the sauna with you.
Yeah, it's not big. It's not big. Yeah, no.
Have you experienced a lot of culture shock coming to LA, Q, or just US in general?
Of course, US is totally different than China, so learned a lot of new things. And find out news is not always right. Yes. So yeah, totally culture shock. Language barrier and see different people in different colors. I'm coming from like north part of China, which is a city nobody knows. It's a small city, so we don't have a lot of foreigners. But LA is like super diverse. So I see people have different cultural background. I talk to people from like different part of the world. It's not shock. I feel it's more like I'm like fascinated for like this fact like, oh, the world is a lot bigger than I actually thought it was.
What about you, Justina?
Oh, yes, it's been a while. So like there was a lot, I'm sure, but I forgot. It was very different. I think I mainly remember that I was young, like a kid, when I was living in Korea. So my job as a friendly neighbor or a good kid was a keep bowing. And then that was really hard to break it. Just keep bowing. And then I still doing that to my neighbor. It's just like, they're like, hey, Justina. And then just like, so
like
that's
bowling.
a habit that hasn't breaking off yet. But it was a big culture shock. I just don't remember because too many. Yeah, but bow thing stays. And then I think overly, I also say no just for the being polite. Oh, do you want to eat? But I said, oh, no, thank you. And then they're like, okay, just take it away. Yeah, so those kind of two things are still, I have to accommodate. But I think it's mostly from the culture that you grew up with, and then you're jumping into completely new area that is like a multi-culture. So you have to say what is a yes and means yes, no means a no, very clear. And then you got to speak up what you really think. So that was something that I had to learn.
I see. Is the US like somewhere you all want to kind of like stay and grow old and like just somewhere you want to stay forever?
It's really a good question, and in this day and age, you can never really make a statement, a final one, and so everything might happen along the way. I don't plan to, because I have this feeling like I belong to a certain place where I feel happy, and I enjoy not only how it looks, but just how life functions. And while the US definitely has its major advantages when it comes to what we are working in our business, but it feels if you want to not have such a work focused existence, you might have a harder time in the US. And at some point, the grind needs to stop. I want to believe for myself. And so I don't plan to. I will take advantage as far as I can to the chances right now and take all that knowledge back to where I want to be happy until the end of times.
I see. I know Q, you really want to go to Spain at least like for a few years.
Yeah, that was before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was last year around this time. I'm like, okay, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to stay in Spain for a few years, learn the language there, and experiencing the cultures. But I did last year went to Europe for like a month, so stayed in Spain for a little bit over a week. But during this 1 month, I started to feel like homesick of LA. I've been staying in LA for a long time. I really miss those people here. And then also I miss in LA, I also meet a lot of like older generation Chinese. They're like old master now. Like me and Situ is one of them, and then he's having his like workshop here, and I also going to his workshop like consistently, and I miss those like old masters. So I feel like I always thought like I wanted to explore the world. I wanted to see different part of the world. I still do, but I feel like in the end of the day, I wanted to just go back to LA. I had so much fun just working. It sounds weird, but I like my job. Yeah.
Wow, what a workaholic. So the experiences you got like while traveling, when you brought that back home, like did it help you with your art career a lot?
I think so. See different parts of the world and how different they are, and I will be more open-minded. I know my current job is probably not lasting forever. I want him to like. There's a lot of other kind of things out there. I know that now that certain art style is the best. There's like no best art style. There's so many different artists, different art style out there. So I don't compare myself with others. I still do a little bit, but like a lot less than before. So I become more like accept myself for, okay, this is my own journey. I don't have to compare with everyone else. I think that's the help from my traveling experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. Justina, I know you design a lot of like costumes and characters. So like, has your knowledge of like other cultures like really helped with your career?
Yeah, I think the mainly my job or anyone's job, the first thing comes is a research. So if you know more, then it's definitely cut down your researching time. I think when you have a different culture background or like a traveling experience behind, you can actually take it more than just you searching from the Google, right? It's like a flat image, and then you kind of instantly know this is a right image for what I'm looking for, or oh, this is just, I don't know, fake or something is not correct. Because a Google image is like, yes, it's really good, but at the same time, it's just so much information that is not correct. So it's a good thing that you actually going to actual museum, the local, and then I think it's not the same as you just looking at visually versus you go there, smelling, feeling it, and senses it. You just walked in and you have the feeling of this culture or this area or this costume has that kind of feel, and I want to recreate it based on what I wanted, what is needs to be done. So I think the traveling and the different culture background and in general, any experience, life experience, it should be the good part of our brain library.
Lip, I know you do a lot of like Google Map studies, like dropping yourself into like some like random street in another country and like looking at the streets like from street view. Do you think that's like helpful also?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I 100% agree with Justina that if you can engage more senses with your experience, it will be richer. But I started off from just a very weird wish to just look for the secret pockets of the world without sort of, because in Google you will find images that somebody put out there to represent something, but Street View is not curated in that sense. So it's I remember myself just sort of almost driving on very unknown Finnish countryside roads for 4 hours, just clicking away, and just I don't know, it felt like a meditative experience. And pairing that with painting, you can always find a place where the photo might not be amazing, so it's your task as an artist to say, how can I make this good? How can I take from what I see? How can I use my design skills to save this place somehow? So yeah, that's one of the reasons I enjoyed it. And yeah, the more you have seen, which is not just the PR photo from a place, the better. I think if you wanted to go under the skin of the apparent. So yeah, now with Google Earth, even better. So you can even take that into another level. And technology will help us to see more without spending. I'm not saying it's the same thing, because just traveling, being on site, probably the best way. Yet I don't have to see every place just for that only reason.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely know the struggle of like going into Map Crunch and like scrolling for 4 hours. I think I've seen every street with trees like in like Hong Kong. I've just like in the last month I've just been just scrolling through streets of Hong Kong, and yeah, it's really addictive. So I think there's a lot of people in the audience that want to know about like the specifics of how you got your visa and like finding footing in America when there's like no one there to help you. The reason I wanted to do this podcast was I know Q has a really badass story about how she secured her visa. So can you talk a little bit about that, Q?
Oh my God, where should I start? Yeah, so I graduated from art center, right? So I thought, oh, okay, I graduated from like a good school. I have like a skills. I should just find a job easy. No, not like that. So, and then for international students, you have like only a 3 months limit for you to find a job after you graduated. So if I couldn't find a job in 3 months, I will get kicked out of the country. So started searching for job for like 3 months, sent out thousands of emails. And I couldn't find a job. Later, I find out a lot of companies don't even give me interview. As long as they hear like I'm international student, I have to get a sponsor. They were okay, thank you. I thought, oh, you said because I'm not good enough, or what's the reason? So and I have to take a job. So I took a job in Bay Area, which is a startup company. This might be shocking, but they pay me like $12 per hour.
Oh man.
And then I saw the In-N-Out is hiring. In-N-Out is a burger place in California here. And we are hiring $12.5 per hour. So I got paid lower than In-N-Out. But like, and Bay Area is a very, very expensive place to live. I'm like so poor. I wanted to buy a sofa. I find this sofa which is like $50, but I couldn't afford it. At that point, I feel like, oh my god, like my parents support me, spend so much money to help me go through this like art center, and I couldn't even buy a $50 sofa. And then the reason I stay in that company is also because they promise, oh sorry, we pay you low, but we can support you to sponsor you for the H1B. They did. So that's why I stayed for that company for like a little bit over half year. Sponsor me for H1B, but it's a lottery thing, so I didn't win the lottery. And then I'm still OPT at the time, so I have like a 3 year. I graduated with a science degree, so I have like a 3 years for able to working in US after I graduating from college. And so that first year doesn't work out, and I don't want to just spend all my 3 years staying in a startup company that paid lower than In-N-Out. So and my friends at LA, she don't like her job at the time, and she quit it. As soon as she told me she quit it, and then I just contact that company. I know she quit, so then they might need someone. And then they said, oh yeah, sure, yeah, we need you. When can you start? I'm super happy because they pay me $20 per hour at the time. So I moved down to there, and then that company also have a lot of issues. So a few months later, I changed to another company. And they said, oh, we will sponsor you H1B again. I said, okay. So working that company for a theme park design company. And then at the time around February, which is the time I supposed to apply gathering the material from the H1B, we changed to another HR. The HR promised me for giving me the visa retired. So, and then they're hiring another lady who don't know anything about international. And she told me, oh, sorry, you're just an artist. We can hire so many American artists to replace you. You are not qualified for the H1B requirement.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's at that point, I know that I cannot count on any company to apply for my visa. I have to count on myself. I already know friends who already got the O1 visa, so I just asked them how they did it and did the research, found out I have several criteria I need to meet. I need to gather more experience to feel I'm like extraordinary enough. I cannot just stay in this company for another year. So and I never thought about it. I will working for an animation industry because I have a passion for theme park design. I like to go into places. I like to experience things, and theme entertainment is like design theme park, designing experience. Never think about going to work for animation, but I was like, why not? I will get different kind of experience and show the government that I could also do that. So leave that company and then started to work in this animation company. I worked like 3 different projects full time during that year, and then also did like 2 different like freelance jobs. So I got like 5 different credits. I know that for O1 you need to have like publications. So at the same time, I'm trying to contact all the publishers, show them, hey, I can do this, I can do theme park design, I have experience for animation. I got like stuff published on like Imagine FX and several tutorial books. Yeah, and then also trying to get all the gallery experience as much as I can. So in the end, right before my visa expired, I gathered material and then I just submitted, and then my visa got approved. It's the story.
That's amazing. You took things into your own hands.
Oh, well, I still have a lot of people help me. Like they all write me like recommendation letters. Angela helped me to write the letters too. So it's not all by myself. It's a lot of people help me. Thank you so much, guys.
Do you guys have tips to offer international students who want to come to the US? Like taking things into your own hands, like things you have control over. Lip, do you have any suggestions?
It's definitely a tough question because times are changing, and what was true just a couple of 5-10 years ago, and the way we are doing work with each other is changing a lot. And I mean, I might not be the best case to ask like how to really come to the US, because I feel this is a one checkpoint in my life, and it doesn't become a goal yet. To come over, maybe it's just a question to think, what is my takeaway? What do I really want to get out of this experience? Is it something specific about the project you want to get from that only in the US can happen? Then the advices can be going to the one direction. Or is it just the sheer fact of living and breathing within this country, or let's call it LA, within this industry, and sort of meeting the right people and on site? If you feel like you want to have this experience, I would just be not only as professional, as good as it gets, but also really working hard of meeting and sort of engaging with the people that can offer you those opportunities. Because as true it is that good work will get you opportunities or chances, having the network of people, just as I heard from Q, you need people here to support this. And I've been an example, because I have been told decades ago, just for being an artist, it's not really the thing. We don't get people here, because we have a ton of people from Art Center every year, and they're all amazing. Even if you might be good or you might be bad, we don't need you really. But if you have some people that really enjoy working with you and can sort of be your mentor and support you in that, that's good. So go to conferences, make those contacts, and be a person that is interesting to other persons too, not just from a work relation point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Justina, do you have a lot of struggles like securing your visa as well when you first got here?
Yes. Like what Q just mentioned is like just make me remind of all those memories. It's not easy. I saw a couple of my friends actually got it very easy, but they're all in the 3D. So I think of VFX, a little bit more technical side is a bit easier to get in visa. Before, I'm talking about like 10 years ago. But as a 2D or like just an artist, like Liv and Q maybe realize that there's so many good artists out here. It's not just about your skill set. And then I was okay. I wasn't that extraordinary. I didn't even thinking about apply for, O1 visa, because I thought that, that's for the, art geniuses. It wasn't for me. I met a lot of people who graduated, they want to get their dream job right away, which is, if you're international, if you wanted to starting from some point, especially you never had experience, starting from somewhere, very low pay job. Yeah, I had a very low pay job, Q. I was like, no, $5 is lower than what I got. Yeah, but I had a very low pay job. I got crazy amount of work. I literally got the art direction from this director that I don't want to mention. He's like, yeah, Justina, just pull the magic out of your ass. You can do it. You're like a unicorn. I was like, oh, what? And they call me as a unicorn, Justina. It's like, oh, Jesus, because like I made it happen overnight. Oh, is this not magic? I was up all night to make it happen. And then I really can now advise that. That was not a good way, but that was the only way I knew, how could show that, Justina is working hard and Justina is, willing to do the good job. But I really not advise it. But if I want to share anything from my experience is that just do what you can do. And then don't expecting this is gonna be so easy, this is gonna be so amazing job, this is gonna be so, all the jobs that everyone talking about, high profile jobs gonna come to me. It's not gonna come right away, at least not for me. I starting from intern to start a company to moving on to next start a company to a little bit better here and there. And then up to current, my job is actually my dream job. So I'm like, yay. But man, it was such a tiring journey. But it's worth it. Once you went through it, right, Q? It's like once you went through it, it's like, it's been worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Totally
Yeah, right. Once you go through it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And while you're in the pit, you don't really think that way. You're thinking so many questions. Why this is happening to me? Why it doesn't working out? But it's worth it. Everyone's experience is different. Like Lip is amazing artist, so he kind of snooped in.
Well,
But everyone is.
If I can just interject one thing, and these are true inspiring testimonies of you both. I just want to say that in ideal sense for me, people will come to you if you really flourish and you have a plan what you wanted to do in the first place, and you keep doing it. But that's how I sort of started. I just wanted to do what was turning in my head, and then I learned that what I was doing, people were making it was a part of making movies, and then I learned this is also a component how to make games. So you just find your happy place and you will be successful. And then they will come to you and say, do you want to do this over here? Yes, no, but you should always start from your own, like from the making, and from being flourishing in your own tiny universe. And they will ask you to do your universe in their universe, which is maybe bigger, maybe smaller.
Definitely do your best, and then as humanly as possible, and then let everything else to be flow.
Yeah, and also helping others as much as you can, because I get so much help from people. So I try to just do the same. And
Justina, I know you're married. So is your husband also in the industry? Is he also did he also come from a foreign country?
Yes, yeah. He's from Philippines. I'm from South Korea. We met in the college, so yes. But he's awesome. So I don't, I'm not worried about him. He does his thing, and he's always encouraging, but always he told me to do whatever you want it to be. Be Justina. I can tell you what I do or how can I get it done or what I did, but just find your way. So I think it should be applied to everyone. Like, yes, we are here to sharing our experiences and hope that whoever wanted to pursue their art career in the United States or anywhere else, I want them to have it, because it is hard, but also during that time going through all this hardship, whatever happening, I think it kind of forming us as a certain person. And I just realized that is actually very valuable. You cannot just buy it, right? Yeah. So just be the best way you can be, and then be nice to people and hope the best. You guys really need the luck too.
Lip, I know you're married as well. How does your wife feel about your move over to America? Is she also really supportive as well?
Yes, and even more so, she's actually an artist too, and we used to work on many of the same projects together. And she's working for Netflix as well at the moment. So we had a true lucky situation where we both not only come here but both be employed by the same company. So with all of this benefits coming. So yeah, I really was lucky in that sense. And we try to support each other, and it might be easier and might be harder sometimes, because if both are artists, there is a certain level of competition going in where you have to be careful what you say, or you have to manage. But overall, it's a true blessing because you always have to talk about something. You can always discuss about the temperature of the shadow side of the clouds versus the light side. And it's always like, as stupid as it might sound, there's never this silence of, we're going to tell you, like, look at the weird car shape. Could you imagine? Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's nice to have that.
What's the most challenging thing, like adapting to an American studio when you made the move?
Well, I would say, because I have always do my own thing for a decade and more, which I thought I would be staying in the mountains / in Vienna, just doing animated commercials, and then coming to a bigger studio, there's a certain other routine, there's a certain other way to talk to people. There's a way to articulate yourself, because I'm coming from a German / Italian culture. There's another way to say facts or sort of say trueness about something, about or making judgments. So I think Americans have it different. That's something I had to learn. And then, yeah, being nice is always good, because nobody wants to feel uncomfortable on a place where everybody needs to perform, because studios are here to do good work. And if you don't feel at your best, the quality will go down very, very fast.
You mentioned there's like slang and just like words that we would use here. Have you picked up any new slang after your move?
Well, I'm not sure about words itself, but I was shocked in the beginning when people always tried to sugarcoat, even like not extremely positive statements. So I was sort of showing stuff, and they would make it sound. It was actually quite great. At least my translation said, "Does he say it's good? It says it's good, right?" But then I learned that this doesn't mean good. This doesn't mean this is not good. So you have to learn to read between the lines to really filter what actually is the case. So if as a stupid example, it might change, and it's maybe even more an LA thing than maybe a New York thing. But they say, yeah, this is pretty good. You can say, okay, there's no way this is good. Like this is horrible. And somebody just can contain himself saying how awesome it is. You can be confident it might be in the ballpark, or even, I would much rather have somebody say, no, this is not working. Like this is wrong. While I had to squeeze that wrongness out of people more often than not. So.
Yeah, I can totally relate. When people tell me something is good, but like their face is not saying that it's good. I think like the most genuine compliment is like when they're so excited, they're just like talking to you about like, it's like, oh my God, like you can hear it in their voice, like you can hear the excitement. That's when you know like it's true compliment.
Yeah, but you get emails sometimes too, right? So
true.
You said, that's truly good, and you said, which one is it now?
Yeah, for sure. Q, have you had similar experiences?
Yeah, in my hometown, everybody's like super direct. Direct. Came here, I found like, especially in California, like LA, people are really nice, but I could tell that the tone of their voice, like something they just being nice, this is not as awesome as they describe. They will be, oh, this is awesome, but if you can fix this a little bit.
Oh, the compliment sandwich, the classic.
Yeah, so I just like always focus on the things after the but.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I think it's actually nice. They're trying to be polite. Actually, a couple of years ago, I had a chance to do with their freelancing with the company, actually friends. That was an email that's so direct that I never got it from working from North American, industry side. They literally told me that your drawing is annoying. I was like, oh my God. I guess they're using translator. So they, they type whatever in French and then translate it. But I was like, oh my God, I never got that, on your face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was in that sense, actually, people said, oh, it's nice. Or maybe, that's a nice start point. You're going to developing your work from there, right? That is actually a more polite way of saying it. So later, I kind of actually asking my friend who can speak French, and maybe just using the translator. Don't mind it. Just keep doing it. It just, it remains with you. It's not about what it says. It's about what they do. It's more about what makes the email or people feel you that remains. So just being nice, yeah. Because of that feeling, I was like, I never want to get it from critique.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, working in the US in the entertainment industry, has there been any surprises or disappointments?
Well, disappointing. I was hoping to work in a team with people, but then it turns out we all working from home. So it has been quite disappointing to just sit in our apartments. Well, I could have stood at home in the first place because it doesn't matter if I'm here. I was looking for that studio, close quarter, intense working experience, which didn't happen for a reason we couldn't control. So that's fine. So yeah, that's
Do you guys have a company Discord server? You can all hop on the voice chat and like hear each other's like.
Yeah, we use Slack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that works, but it's not the same because I mean I get for some reason video meetings and discussions tire me more than personal ones. So I feel I could get so much more out of it rather than just looking at those windows on my screen, because sort of discussion with people used to be a refresher, sort of get my eyes off the screen for a little while, and now the meeting just becomes another session on the same medium.
Q, any surprises or disappointments working here?
Not really. It's just my life. And life always have up and downs. So some smaller things bothering me, but that's just life.
That's a good mindset. Do you agree with that, Justina?
Yeah, culture-wise, I think I got used to it. I worked at the very different companies. Actually, before I like to moving around project after project. I thought it would be fun, and then I start from very low rate, so it's easier for me to bump up my price range as well. But at the same time, it was more fun. Like after 2 years, I like to moving on to another company, or sometimes a company closed down. But every company has a different culture, so that was actually a lot to learn because they're all in the Bay Area. First couple of companies that I started working, they're really rich. Means that they're just through the cash. Like I have too many iPhone, and then my sister came over like, "Hey, your house is like an iPhone store." It's like, oh, because I'm working for iOS ISO company devices, and then I had to they just gave me the devices. And then I never even appreciate it. Yeah, so my beginning of my job was like a really poor student who was completely broke to I got into company and everyone was so nice. And then, like all the free kitchen, and it was like, oh my God, this is it. This is how people getting job and how I'm going to leave. And then you move to other company. They're fighting over cheapest, I think, Kruger coffee. They're fighting over it in the morning. It's like, what's going on in here?
Wow, that's a big contrast.
So every company has a different culture, not just about I just talk about more financial thing, but it's also about some company really appreciate your opinion as an artist. Some company doesn't really give no, I don't care about you. Some company is more about socialization, that, oh, you have to go bar, you have to come over. Otherwise, you became a little bit weirdo. Some companies like, no, I don't care what you do. I just want you to do the good job.
So what's your preference for like the workspace environment? Do you like hanging out with people?
I did when I was 20, I guess, to middle 20. It was fun because I never done it before. But once I did it, okay, this is what I expect to do. Yeah, I think I'm friendly enough to talk to people, and then I enjoy companionship with all these coworkers. But when it comes to work, I'm not that good at multitasking with the people really going around, talk to, socialize, and coming back to their station at work. So it took me a while to get into my zone. So in that sense, I like to be alone. Current work, LA is where I'm working right now is like, welcome, here's a work. And I was like, oh, okay. That's it. Okay. I mean, thank you. But Yeah, it was a bit different because of other company. They're like, oh, welcome. There's a stickers, there's all the synthetic, and then, oh, let's go out, welcome lunch, and then hang out. And it took about a whole week to be feel welcomed and then start working. So I personally prefer the place that everyone does the work. And then after extra time, if they want to hang out, they can hang out. Not is mandatory to be hang out.
Yeah, I think when I finally get a studio job, I think I like to hang out with you. I hope it's like something like our Warrior Painter Discord where we're just like chatting as we're painting. We're like can kind of peek over and see like what everyone's painting. We're gonna move to some audience questions. What does it mean to be successful for you guys? I think after hearing that story about all the iPads, I think that's the dream for me. Q, what do you think?
I mean, I feel successful come with so many different forms. Like, doesn't matter how much money you make, what position like of your job you are. As long as I feel if you're happy and you're willing to help others, then you are a successful human being.
That's a good way to live. What about you, Lip?
Well, this is a very personal. Everybody has its own take about success or whatnot, and I feel for me and it just connecting to our art development and why we all doing this. For me, success would be getting to a place where I know at least a little bit of tools and develop a voice where I can say what's in my head. Like the whole reason of training and becoming better is like I want to be able to express myself with more ease, because it starts where you're very, very sorry.
New York life.
Yeah, like it's horrible. But yeah, just learn enough that you can just go on that ride. And because the hardest part in the beginning is you have so many ideas, but you don't know how to get them out. And my own goal is just to learn that enough and keep working on it so that my artistic voice becomes more and more refined. I can go closer to what I wanted to do in the first place. That's all it is. And I believe if I do that well enough, money will come. And I have reason to believe that if luck helps me as well, I might be able to do just that, to reach a level where people want to know what you can craft. Success is when I can do what I wanted to do and I have the means to do it.
Okay. Yeah.
And a lot of money.
Yeah, true. Money. So Justina, for most people, including myself, like I see like where you are as like the definition of like being successful. So where?
No. I was just so great with the lip that I was just like keep nodding. No. I shared that because I wanted to just tell them there's so many different company comes with a very different accommodation. So not one is completely good. Like honestly, my worst company is the one that give me most gadget. Really? Yeah, no, it's not gonna make you happy. And then all that I had to go through a company to be settled so that I could focusing on work that I liked working on. That was just a journey. I mean, I learned a lot, but I was not happy as an artist. I couldn't produce what I like to produce. So I was always seeking something else that like, oh, okay, just get the job done, good. But I don't want to go to convention. Then I was actually jealous of people who can do what they can do. But as an international, I didn't have any, I was all alone here. My parents is out there. I have to figure out myself how to pay the rent and all that. So that wasn't my responsible, the adult side. But as a just artist and success goes, yeah, I really agree with the lip. It's where I want to reach to. I want to find the best tool for myself to express myself. And then if others are excited about it, that would be great, really. You really like a gadget.
Yeah, I love gadgets. For all the students like in the audience, besides a good portfolio, what are other factors influence the studio's decision to hire international artists? And does age matter? Q, what do you think?
Oh, age matter.
Age definitely not matter. First of all, you need to be a good person to work with. I feel studio treat you just like an employee. They don't care if you're international or not. If you could do the job, then they will hire you. But for doing the job, there's like so many other people have the same skills. So you're trying to be a little bit more helpful and a little bit more understanding. So you show yourself you are easy to work with. Yeah, and also a lot of studios don't want you to deal with like your visa situations. Only if you like as amazing as Lips, like you have your
What is going on?
stories. They will help you to get your visa. But if you are like a okay artist, your skill level, you have so many other people to replace you. Your work is not fully developed to that level yet. So maybe trying to solve this problem by yourself. As long as you could solve the problem for your company, then they're more willing to work with you.
Yeah,
You're
for sure.
You're there for a proper problem solving for them. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel the same, Lip?
Yeah, like she said it right. The visa discussion is a long one, and obviously you have to bring more to the table because it's a true hassle for the company, not only in terms of money, but they have to have a specific producer or just immigration person to lead you through that. So there's a lot of commitment. So they really have to want it. They cannot say, you know what, yeah, you come in, doesn't matter. So that can happen with a local artist, which is let's take our chances, let's have him giving a try. But getting somewhere from far needs a visa. There has to be a specific role, a specific service they want to get from you. And obviously nobody is irreplaceable, yet if they have a suspicion you will bring something to the table which is a little different. And I have heard that many times, like you're definitely not the best painter, but you kind of make this weird shit. So we want that weirdness, like we want that extra thing, and we're willing to bring that into our pool because our artists here are very, very good, but they are sort of in a certain mode because the environment obviously just makes the character or the nature of the artist. So just make sure you push that uniqueness that makes your either your background or your persona stand out and not just your technical skill set. And that needs to be backed with technical skill set because there's no amount of talking that will help you in the end. But what I want to say is just know that you need to bring something specific, which is not the ordinary. So that could go with having your subject matters in your portfolio be different and fresh and contributing to something more diverse, or just your personality, your way of work, your views. So make sure you stand out in that way.
Do companies when they hire you, do they mention like how they love your like smiling, wholesome mountains? That's my favorite thing about your work, the wholesomeness.
I started this thing just because everybody was many of my friends are caricature artists, and they just doing their self-portraits, and I don't want to draw myself like on my face, like so I thought, what if I make self-portraits yet I try to encapsulate all my sense of my environment, like how can I make a self-portrait of myself not as a person? So yeah, and that's an advice. I'm not sure it's a good or a bad advice, but that's something I do. I try to be my art as much as possible a reflection of my current time in life. So it's a mirror, and everything that goes around with you, either bad or good, should go directly into that. So that's the best way to make it look different and unique to you, and you will feel very comfortable with it because that has everything, and will transcend over time, because you can look back and the stupid mountains 10 years from now, like it is exactly how I felt. I know exactly how it was back then, and so yeah, it's you should always care to project your own in what you do, because that's the best way to feel happy in the long run. At least that's how I believe.
For sure.
Well, I just agree with the Lips. Like, so right. He's so right. How can I get I recently actually, like, I was more focusing on work and then prepared to be the artist that what I like to do on the living more side. I remember that my art hero, Ian McCaig, and then Neil Gaiman, they kept saying that be yourself, be the light, be the someone that only you can be, and so uniquely you can be. I really couldn't get that meaning before. because a company work was just kind of company work. You have to just do the good job or whatever best you can be within that setting. But as a being artist is, like Liv says or Q says, it has to be uniquely you, and then only you can offer. Like when you hear about Q's story, it's not just about her amazing painting. It's about, you can tell about her personality, right? She get the job done, she make it work, and then she's grinding, but she kept going. So it kind of shows of who she is. And then when she get hired, she brings her skill set, and then that persona brings to the studio. I think that's what everyone need. I was too scared to be doing anything different, to be honest. And then I didn't really get the meaning of be yourself. And then like what Liv says, it's the same object, same landscape. Just I wanted to input over my own self. I really didn't get it for a while. Like, what does it mean? Be myself. But these guys I got hired. These guys are great. But later actually recently I realized that, there's just so many thousands of ways I can do, but only my ways I can do it. So let's more develop my way of telling the story.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I feel before this, I'm just like an ordinary, another girl in this world. I'm not unique. I'm like,
yes, you are.
Yeah, now I know that. But before that, when I growing up, I think Asian cultures actually teach you to be the same. You need to be. This is the path you have to go. If you're unique, people will see you differently. And I think me and Justina all grown up in this kind of Asian culture background. If you are being a little bit different, people will judge you. After I tried to fight for my visas, I doing all that things, I find out if I want something like hard enough, I never get it. And then I stopped to compare myself to like other artists. I'm just different. Like, how many artists like who could speak Chinese and also going to surf, going to hike, have 6 packs, not allowed. So I just like, I developed this confidence over getting old, over the age. So I think, okay, I don't have to compare with everybody. I'm just being myself. And then if I being the best version of myself, then that's good enough. I don't have to compare with everybody.
Yeah, I can definitely see like your growing confidence in your paintings, especially like your Catzilla paintings. I just remember that one painting where it's like a skyscraper. It used to be like an H&M building, but you just like slap your initial like a big Q onto the tower, and like it's like a cat climbing it. That's like that was my favorite painting from you. So last question. Do you think it's still common in this day and age to have a mentor in a studio? Do you guys have any mentors to shout out from your jobs?
I actually appreciate everybody I work with because I feel everybody could teach me a little bit things differently. Like everybody's unique. I think I learned a lot from Lyndon too. Such a nice guy, and always like helping organize these things. Super friendly. So shout out to Lyndon this time.
Thanks. Lip, do you have any mentors to shout out?
I will shout out to one mentor of mine, which I not only learned a lot, but also went into many battles with. And his name is Von Ling. Actually, he was the one who introduced me to Blender in the first place, and that opened up a huge, actually, opportunity. So I actually just wanted to join his course to troll him, but it turned out to be a good endeavor. So shout out to him. He's great. Everybody should take his course today. And other than that, there's a big hope if you can work in a studio and you have a mentor figure that can take you through sort of the struggles, the not keeping doing the same mistakes. And I know I owe to many people that form, even though I might have not worked directly with them, but I had a lot of help from Armand Serrano and from Nicholas Weiss. I always looked for sort of an exchange, just being also very proactive with just writing them and then interacting them. So having somebody to check in and just detach from from your television is great. So again, learn heavy poly blender today, or I will be mad about it.
Do it. Get heavy paint.
I guess I have a very vice part that I get very into it once I'm into it, but otherwise I could be very lazy. So I just actually like people who consistent and persistent and just keep doing work, whether they're good or not. That's not my part of judging. I just like to put those people around me, and then happen to be there's a lot of people around me just keep going, keep grinding. I get inspired. Actually, Angela is one of them.
Oh,
yeah, she just kept Angela. Because she's the one that I met. I think she's one of the first people that I met when I came down to LA. And then she just kept doing. And then she kept saying, "That's so hard. I'm not doing it right." But she never stopped doing it. And then that was 3 years ago already. I just want to watching her how far she goes. Sometimes I'm not putting that much effort, but like I want to just see her, how she gonna develop as an artist. Because I think she just started painting or just start, very more focusing on painting side. And then I just see her daily keep posting, kept going. And then one day she's teaching, one day she has a gallery show. I just, wow. So just anyone around me, whoever just kept going, whoever reminds me that's the real key. You can be really talented, you can be great idea person, but as a professional artist, you have to be there, good or bad day, you have to keep producing, right? Especially you're hired, paid to do so. So sorry, my answer was too long, but yes.
No. Angela inspired so many of us here.
For sure.
So me and Linda is like Angela's like a fun girl and a fun boy. So yeah, thank you, Angela, and I appreciate you always like keeping our eyes like. So Angela posts again. Okay, I need to do this painting today.
Thank you, Angela.
Shout out to Angela and her nucleus opening tonight. Everybody, go check it out. That's all the time we have today. Thanks to our guests for joining us, and thanks for all the contributions on the Warrior Painters Gumroad. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun, and I'm looking forward to meet more people in the LA area because I'm getting away from this noisy city and moving to the other noisy city. So it's gonna be great.
Yes, thank you so much for having us, and hopefully you guys, whatever we share, it will be somewhat give you guys idea what it's like. But making your own journey, make your own path, really. It will be worth it. Once everything done, you'll be like, that sucks, but they're worth it. So,
yeah.
Thanks for listening. We love hearing from you. Feel free to write us a review on Apple Podcast or other platforms, leave us a comment on YouTube, or just message us on Instagram. If you want to support us, please consider donating on Gumroad. You'll find a link in the description. All right, see you again soon.